Nigeria Info.
.3 Nigeria Info, Lagos. Good morning to you. Welcome to Dailies today. Yes, we are back for the second part of Dailies today. First part started at 6:12 this morning. So it's time for us to take you through the papers. I'm Sheriff Quadry.
And I'm Jimi. Disu. Good morning.
That's right. You can watch us on Facebook and on YouTube. Nigeria Info 99.3 is how you can be a part of our broadcast online, okay? You can listen via our mobile app as well, Nigeria Info FM. You can get it from Google Play Store and Apple App Store. You can listen via our website, nigeriainfo.fm. So you see, plenty options for you to connect to the show. And other shows as well here on Nigeria Info. Let's start with the Vanguard newspaper, page 8. Thierry Emir Sanusi, I thought I would die before Herbert.
Yeah, you know, the death of Herbert has brought many, many lessons for a lot of us, and there's so much to learn from, the accounts that people give about him, the things that they had to say about him. There was more to this gentleman than just being, a bank MD. The human element of some of the stories that you hear, are quite moving. There's also something about his death that I remember back in the day when I was an active, relatively small young member of Jamatul and probably had to go for funerals. Every time the chief imam will be telling you that the death of anybody is a proverb to you. Is that right? Always proverb, isn't it? I say, every time somebody dies, it is a proverb to you, and you should learn, the power of the Almighty from that. And that if we all, have that at the back of our mind, with less vain, there'll be less vanity in the system. Look at what Sanusi said, look at the way we plan. He thought that probably being older than Herbert, he said he set up a foundation for his children, which he said are many, and that he put Herbert in charge of that process because he thought, and that's when he broke down, he thought that he would die before Herbert by reasoning. And if there is one mystery that nobody has been able to solve, I want to know that person. Of all the pastors, forget all those ones who always lie that. They say two people are going to die this one. Obasanjo should be very careful. They've been talking about Obasanjo now for the past 10 years. He's still alive and kicking. By the way, he was 87 yesterday. Yeah? Happy birthday, sir. And that is one element of life that you need to pay attention to. That no matter how you plan, no matter how you kill yourself trying to do certain things, you just don't know when you're going to go. And that's the lesson I learned again and again from the death of Herbert. Sanusi said he was quite supportive to him, that when he was removed, it was Herbert that provided a plane and provided accommodation. Now, your thinking of Sanusi would be that he probably has it all. He probably has one giant mansion in Banana Island or whatever. Nigerians are very good at determining your assets. Where if I get up from house and I go to Sheriff, 50 you just make assumptions. He said it was Herbert that provided accommodation for him and his family for months. You see, that is another lesson that I learned, that don't judge people by their public profiles. And what you know is what you know. You don't know what any other person is going through. You don't know. We just like to make so much assumptions. I felt very sad watching the tape, and Sanusi broke down in tears completely, and so on and so forth. Other people had things to say. Henry Massacre who had a lot to say. Everybody keeps saying that Herbert was close to them. And I'm wondering, this gentleman that I just saw as the MD of a bank, to be honest with you,
what kind of person was
his partner I knew when he was in GTB. I don't think he remembers me, but he helped me one or two times way back. I'm one of the very first customers in GTB. If I'm not one of the first in 6 months, I'll be surprised. Because way back then, my friend Fola who pioneered it, I don't know how I got to, they got us open an account very, very early, back in the day. And I think was supposed to be my accounting officer. How much do I have? But apart from that, I didn't really know much. I just thought, well, it's empty of a bank and it was doing well, given the circumstances. But a lot of things. There was even a representative for the French government, Frank Reister. I hope I got the name right.
Oh, yes.
And he said it's to a dear friend and a great man. And he said that due to previous commitments, the president was not able to attend personally, but he wanted to be here in Lagos with all of you to honor Herbert Wigwe's memory and to honor Herbert Wigwe because he was a true friend of his, one of the finest beings I have had the privilege to meet. Chief Olushola Falaye also said, so tributes and tributes. So the question you also need to ask yourself, all of us as adults, is that when you do that, because you will die one day, are you concerned about what people would say about you in your hearts? When they say you don't talk ill of the dead, what you might find is that people will not say anything. They say don't talk ill of the dead, though. Are you bothered about what people would say about you? Or what people will think about you in their hearts? Because the hypocritical side of human beings is that once you're dead, you're probably the best person that God ever created since powdered milk. That would normally, people that if I die now, people that have criticized and hammered all my life, they say he's a patriot, he's a courageous man. people who probably had sent assassins after me, but thanks to my God and my mother Yoka, they say that our parents always, and my father, maybe they're the ones who are warding these things off. Well, all said and done, this is always a mystery to us. Some of the mysteries we have, we don't know when we are going to die. We don't know what happens when you die. Nobody can tell you that, and none of the pastors has ever tried to. Thank God for that. May Herbert so rest in peace. I think he will be interred this weekend in his
I think so, yeah.
in his village, and as usual, life will go on. As soon as he's dead now, struggles will begin in various areas for this. But may his soul rest in perfect peace. And I hope we've all learned our lessons, that no matter how we plan, we must submit to the Almighty in things like this. I sound like a pastor this morning.
It's normal, given the circumstance. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you don't think that's enough for me to open up?
No, I know now. That's not God talking to you. No,
who was talking to me? I didn't plan this. I just saw it.
It's the headline. You only just treated
That
the
spoke
headline.
to me.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
It's not God though. Don't start
Yeah, sure.
anything.
Okay, no.
Let's go and take the Vanguard again. Page 14. How state police can work. Lawyers.
Yes, we're getting closer to having state police. I have my fears, I have my doubts. But when I put my fears against the merits, of a functional state police, I seem to say, and in any case, everybody's hands the hands have dropped. We don't know what to do next. We're just not secure. It's so difficult for us to secure ourselves in this nation. But let me let you into what some of their reactions. Professor Ojukwu, who is a senior advocate of Nigeria, is the Deputy Director General of the Nigerian Law School, said that a hybrid model could be implemented by establishing a federal regulatory body that sets minimum standards for recruitment, training, and equipment for all police forces. This ensures some national cohesion while allowing states more control over their police forces' operations. I don't think it's the training that I have fears about. I think it's the power of the governors. That is the concentration of where my worry lies. Some of these governors are powerful. And we've seen them. We've seen them at work. Oh, some of them are extremely powerful. I begin to examine some of the things that have happened in the past and imagined that police, if the governor at that time had the police under his control, what use would he put You remember, for example, a governor and a local government chairman, they put up a charge, it's charged to court and so on and so forth. If a governor like that had some state police under his command, there's no guessing what could jolly well have happened. Okay. Mike Ozekome, who is an SCN, says that, like we have it in Western democracies, governors must fully fund state police commands. State police commissioners must also be independent of the Inspector General. There must also be a collaboration with federal and state police for effective policing. I strongly suggest a constitutional review to insist that governors must not deploy police to intimidate or harass political opponents. The new state police must also be fully kitted with modern gadgets, vehicles, and crime-fighting equipment. Ugwumadu, a former executive president, Committee for Defense of Human Rights, Malachi Ugwumadu, says that the idea for state police derives from the concept of a localized security network system based on the people-driven bottom-up approach. Ditto for the intelligence gathering systems and leveraging on established familiarities within groups. Executive Director, Sterling Law Center, Deji Ajari, says that while the creation of state police requires decentralization, there must be a unifying national framework to ensure consistency, professionalism, and respect for human rights. President, African Bar Association, Hannibal Uwaifo, says that I therefore believe that the latest discussions about the amendment of the Constitution to create state police is an afterthought and is against the background of the failure of the almighty federal government to resolve the serious security challenges which have defied the half-baked, half-hearted solutions and threatening the foundation of the country. So we have so many reactions here. Like I said, it's not the equipping and training that's my problem. It's the power of these governors. Some governors are terrible. In the past years, I think there was one time one governor, was it Cross River or so? Got somebody. You see, because what we have now is that there is a balance. If any governor wants to harass you up to a point, you still have some balance in terms of police authority. If you two can, Nigeria is about plugging buttons. If he can tell the commissioner of police to do this, you two, your family can go to an AIG. And if he goes to an AIG, then you can go to an IG. If he goes to an IG, you can go to...
Where?
No, Nigeria is a telephone country. You run into problems with a policeman, the first thing you do is to pick up your phone. And then the battle starts. Or if you have a problem with your neighbor, if he calls a sergeant, you will call DPO. If he calls DPO, you will... Okay, let's go.
Interesting.
Yes.
Now let's go take this story here. Return to same-day general elections.
Okay, in a bid for us to have what we would call a working democracy, apparently there's a bill. And the bill is to take Nigeria back to the practice of electing all officials on the same day. So we do all the... For me, I don't see why we can't even do that anyway. Having to stagger elections for 3-4 Saturdays, you lock down the whole state and so on and so forth for elections. I think we've gone beyond that. If we were to be true to ourselves, even technology provides the system whereby you can get all the ballot papers and fill as you like. But these politicians, because it's strategic for them, usually for them, if you have the president first or whatever, then they tend to follow the, whatever it is. But so the Vanguard is examining this issue, and they say that the Vanguard argues that every approach, staggered or consolidated, has its advantages and disadvantages. There is no proof that any of them is inherently better than the other. Well, particularly in terms of producing free, fair, and credible election outcomes. It is still the same politicians and the hirelings, the bad eggs in the electoral umpire, hoodlums, that's electoral empire. That means FEDECO. No, we don't call them FEDECO now. We call them, what are they called? INEC.
Oh,
yes.
The umpire.
The umpire now is INEC. I still have that FEDECO. They said that what we need right now is to explore ways of restoring faith of our people in the ballot box. Sheriff, elections in 2027, I can almost say that the attendance will go back down by more than 50%.
Yeah, I think I would follow you on that.
Yes.
I think I would.
I think people are just fed up. And that's what the politicians want, because they will fill in the missing numbers. But it's going to be very tough to galvanize our people in 2027 unless they have a rethink in their ways. If they have a rethink and they're determined to change things around, we hope we will have that. But I'm sure that again there'll be compromises. People will have the same sentiments, tribal, this and that, and all kinds of things. And we end up, we've been doing the same thing for the past, only God knows
Yes, we have.
how many years. Nothing has happened. Every time I watch presidents of some countries talk, when I hear the president of Kenya, for example, when I hear the president of Rwanda, when I see them, I weep inside me to ask, what have we done? We have about more than 1,000 first 11s we can choose from, but we always go to the back of the pack. The very least that we can do is to have a president who is eloquent. When was the last time we had an eloquent president who could mount the podium and bring out ideas, even if it's not going to, just something to motivate us? We don't have. Right from Obasanjo, the other man was a bit sick. The other man too, neither here nor there. We keep going from bad to worse. We can't even produce a president that could stand in the world, make statements that would shake the system, make us proud. We just keep going from bad to worse. And only God will help us in this.
Do you think it's impossible, though?
It's tough.
The reason I asked the question is because everybody had extremely high expectation for towards the last general election. Last year.
Yes.
And then, like you have said, and I think I would echo that, to convince people in 2027 to come up. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen
now and 2027. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
Right. But looking at the
but God has not
experiences
told me yet.
No, let's leave God out of this one.
If you can listen to other people say God has not told them.
I've not
during the last election,
I have not listened
people
to
who
anybody.
would normally have said something said Daddy has not told them. But they came to drink
But
tea.
I will not tell you that Daddy has
we are all complicit in this degenerate thing that we have.
Sad.
Any which way you go, religious, political, even activists, we all fall prey. Even journalists in media, people you expect who are vocal in other areas, is at that time Daddy will not tell them anything. But he came to drink tea. What are we doing? We refuse to always tell ourselves the truth so that we can move on. Rather we suffer. That's why Fela wrote a song called Original Sufferhead. We were just born to suffer. We were born to suffer. That nobody can convince me otherwise.
So we can't get it right.
When one time people voted a man good luck because his name is Good Luck, they thought that he would bring good luck. That was part of the things the gentleman wrote on. Look at what happened from Obasanjo. Obasanjo knew that this poor gentleman was ill and he couldn't cope. He died on us. And see what we had in the last elections and see where we are. Were we blind? Were we blind? Even the blind would have known from listening. We all saw it and allowed it to happen. But see where we are. So it's tough. I don't know.
But it's not impossible. It's tough. It's going to be tough, but it's something that's...
What will happen is that the level of poverty now is so bad that whoever has the money will win the 2027 elections. Hands down. Take it from me. Take it from me. It wasn't not 2-3 days we were joking amongst ourselves that I don't think I would cover and whatever the elections like I did this year again. A complete disappointment. All the efforts that reasonable people put. And look at the choices we had. Look at the brilliant people. You should have listened to. I got the video of what's the name of this presidential candidate?
Kingsley Mahalo.
Kingsley Mahalo. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I saw it.
Oh my God. I was telling my friend that if the president we will have is somebody who can just, if he can speak without even walking the talk, we would have moved forward a bit. When he analyzed everything, also go and look for the tape of the lawyer, what's it? Olisa Agbagoba. Listen to Atedo Peter Side's presentation. If we have people like that, why are we suffering?
But then again, it appears that people know a lot of things and the solution to Nigeria,
Yes.
the many solutions to available solutions to Nigeria's problems when they are not in power. We've also had a history of that.
No. You see, they get. Look at, like I said during the elections. I hoped that Peter Obi, for example, would make good of whatever it is, but I knew within me that three quarters of what he said he would do, he won't be able to do through sabotage. The civil service won't join him. He had a weak hold in the National Assembly, extremely weak. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And these politicians are not there for the reason that he's saying. Of course not. You heard what we said about what's going on in the state assembly in Rivers State. It's all about them. So if we want a change, we first of all have to, how are we going to get our people to vote the National Assembly right? How are we going to get our people, how are we going to get somebody to brainwash the civil service? Civil service is a very dangerous element in this thing. But the excuse you will hear, which is a bit valid, is that the civil service we used to know in the days of Gawan, by the way, Philip Asiodu was 90 yesterday, I think. Happy birthday, sir. He was a super palm sec. The civil service we used to know way back in the day were well paid and well remunerated. As you become, I know people level 8, level 9, you had a nice flat in Ikoyi every 4 years. These are not excuses, but they are the reality. I maintain that I don't think a permanent secretary, federal or state, can comfortably maintain a 3-bedroom flat in Ikoyi, in Surulere or Ikeja, and send 2 of his children to school simultaneously on his salary. So what you now have over the years is that everybody now joins the civil service and so on and so forth, so that God can be kind to him and open. How do you translate Abayo to English? On Abayo.
Breakthrough.
You're a brilliant guy.
I know.
You're brilliant.
Of course.
Anyway, let's go to other stories. Don't let me go on my public lecture today.
Let's go to the Metro page of the New Telegraph.
Okay.
The trust is also there.
The trust is also there, but we're using the New Telegraph today. News, okay, nothing. It's all crime. Herdsmen kill 30, wipe out family of 7, raise monarchs' homes. That's in Benue. In Zamfara, fear grips residents as community protection guards kill prominent cleric. Hotelier petitions Human Rights Commission over NDLEA's invasion and destruction of his property. Alleged cybercrime, application for Fiat stores Naira Marley's trial. I understand Naira Marley released the song recently, but I don't think I've heard it. And some people are saying that it didn't have that much impact. Ojikalu failed political trial taken too far. Ojikalu has to be careful. We know you own this paper, but one of the laws in the media is that you don't write about yourself and report about yourself in your own paper. If you put a call through to Ibori and find out how he's been running the Daily Independent. That is the standard rule. I've complained about this. The Telegraph is a very good paper, but you shouldn't be seeing anything Ojikalu in it, at the slightest whatever. Politicians, they just never listen. I got involved with a newspaper like that, and I said, you don't preach to the converted. You don't turn your newspaper into a sledgehammer. You use it as a guard, as a shield. Economy, Edunfle's Buhari for printing money without productivity. They are the same party. It's the APC. At the time we're going to go for elections, we'll be voting for the party. So it's the same party. They should stop this idea of passing the buck to Buhari. It's the same party. So they're all equally liable. And Tinubu gives fresh directives on oil gas reforms. That's nice to hear. What else? Let me now take the
trust.
The trust. They're the same party. Politicians are very crafty. Now it looks as if Buhari was a standalone. He wasn't. Same party.
It wasn't.
Same party. So we when it's time for election, we will join the two. Or join. Buhari's time and this time to make a decision. And it's up to Nigeria. Tinubu orders emergency distribution of grains to FCT residents as NURTW shares foodstuffs cash to widows. Bandits shot 3, abducted 8 family members in Kaduna. Wigwe says that the Abuja rail project is 95% completed and will be commissioned in May. That's nice to know. Again, court orders mental evaluation of woman accused of killing her house help in Kano. How did that happen? The woman was accused of killing her house help. Okay, it doesn't give us the details as to how it actually did happen here. So safe nabs 37-year-old over theft of aluminium windows in Ogun, and family friends beat the OAU attendant, the zoo man, killed by them. Yes, he was buried yesterday. May his soul rest in peace. And on that note, we are going, Abi.
Yes, we're going.
I'm glad to go.
Before we go, though, let me ask this question, but I need a very short answer. In PDP's 16 years of ruling this country and APC's last 8 years, which of them, would you say that did the most damage?
National.
Yes, national.
So let's break it down to what I'd understand better. To compare Buhari's time and Tinubu's time to Jonathan's time and Obasanjo's time.
Yes.
I'd vote for Obasanjo's time. Honestly. Even though I was highly critical of Jonathan himself, I'd vote for his time. Did the most damage. The list of between the two APC governments, the number one problem is nepotism. The number one problem, look at the Yorubas, my people, who are also of the president's stock, and his personal friends control the whole economy. And see where we are. When you do these things, what happens is that other people take a back seat and wish that you will fail. If I'm an Igbo man and I'm a director in the Federal Ministry of Finance or whatever, but do you think I would be overzealous? It's just natural. You pack the place full of your friends and people from your own stock, ethnic stock, and you want the country to progress? Buhari too did the same. And it's so funny. And I find it very offensive that my own people will be telling me, shut up, Buhari did the same. So I said, is this the pattern we are going to continue to follow? Isn't somebody going to do something sensible for a change?
Okay, so we have to go. I'm sorry.
I've just started.
You
sorry.
I said I'm sorry. That's why I said I'm sorry. Because I knew that you're about to start. We have to go. Well, he's back at 9. Lagos, stay here, please.
We go hard and in depth.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.